Hello everybody, this is Dan Waters from Enstarla. Thanks for joining us. What we're going to quickly talk through here today is intersection between robotic process automation and software asset management. So we're going to do two versions of this video. This is going to be the short version, and we're not going to be showing any RPA actually working itself. We're just going to be talking through the topic of RPA intersecting with SAM. So how do we arrive here? So SAM, I guess you could say, is something that really suffers from an abundance of manual effort despite investments in technology, people, process, etc. And even the most mature software asset management programs are going to be seeing indicators around excessive manual work, lack of granular integration, and lack of cooperation in between different systems and business groups and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's just quickly jump over the next slide here. So I won't read through all of this because this is again the short version here. But really the challenge, as I mentioned, SAM suffers from particular fundamentals. It's a consumer of data. When you start a SAM program, it's really changing some of the organizational behavioral dynamics that have been in play for a long time. And you are not always positioned to or enabled to go and execute on some of the corrective action needed, which falls outside the SAM mandate. And really, I'm talking about data challenges, process challenges. That's getting into building enterprise-wide champions and really good old governance, etc. We won't tackle that here. But what we're trying to communicate, really fundamentally, there is an absence of skill sets. Shortfall of skill sets as well, and really trying to scale quickly to meet the need of your different priorities and objectives is a problem. Enter robotic process automation. So we've got a couple of indexes here. You can quickly glance through, drawing your attention to the value yield index. The value here is phenomenal, right? I mean, it's the difference between meeting your software asset management objectives and not. It really makes a difference. The other piece to mention is you often see SAM groups mentioning that they're kind of wading in quicksand. The more that they try to do, or the faster they try to swim, the further they sink. So really it kind of comes into, really looking at this from a productive standpoint. You are either taking action to improve your state, or you are essentially gathering data, constructing data, and trying to get to that position where you can build on that intelligence and take action and do something, right? I was having a conversation with someone today and we were kind of laughing about the enterprise license position. It's almost like kind of like a holy grail, and I say that tongue in cheek because people treat it that way. But a report does not change your circumstances. You take action on that report, and it is that action which then goes and generates your ROI. You can look at all the ELPs you want. It's not going to change a thing. It's not going to bring you into compliance. It's not going to save you money. It's not going to enable your cross-functional colleagues in legal and finance and procurement. Okay, so important point there. And we do mention, as you can see there, some of the beneficiaries across the organization. There are others, but there's a snapshot of a few. We will jump over here to the next slide. Apologies. Okay, great. So getting specific, who can benefit here? So we've got some groupings: functional, technical, ancillary. I'm not going to go through all these. We can share these with you. I'll call out two. Contracts. So we all know how hard it is to read contracts, decipher contracts, right? And then, what often happens in large organizations, there may be one particular person who's really the contract expert or contract expert for a particular vendor, and they'll be able to understand the different terms and conditions and specific pieces of language that could be key risk indicators, right? Now that person is not always available because they're probably doing a bunch of other really important stuff. So you have different types of people who will also read the contracts, decipher the contracts. So there's not really a standardization there, right? Now, what RPA can do is actually bring these contracts in, digitize them into a database, and then mine the language for risk indicators. So you're getting absolute consistency there, and nothing's going to be missed. It's not going to be an issue of, someone didn't have enough caffeine in the morning and, didn't really feel like reading page 3 properly and kind of missed the important bit of the contract. So all of this can be routine, automated, and I don't know how long it takes you guys to read a 1,000-page contract. You're probably better at it than I am. However, an RPA bot can pull that in 1 second and mine the language, and within literally a second or less, you will have the contract completely brought into the database and completely digital, and you'll have all of per your master list that you've developed. You'll be able to identify all the risky language and do something with it. And of course, you can import those contracts into your SAM tool. You can structure your RPA in a way where it's actually able to bring in the specific elements. Like if you've got standard contracts, it's much more easier to do. So something to be aware of there. I'll also call out service mapping and capacity planning over the right-hand side of the screen. So service mapping, we can talk about organizational services tie-ins, dynamic service mapping. So really being able to make sure that we're assigning the right groups to the right assets. Now, this is a huge problem, especially when you get into a situation where laptops are being re-imaged, right? I mean, that's a classic. You might see a laptop go to 3 different people, right? It brings in huge compliance issues if one employee is working on federal clients and another one's not, and I mean there's a whole host of issues there, right? Depending on that employee, who they are, you want certain software deployed or not. Okay. Capacity planning. Now this is a good one for cloud, because as you'll know, you can spin cloud up, cloud down. You can have your RPA essentially controlling the knobs and levers as far as, well, it's the weekend, no one's going to be using this. We're going to dial down our resourcing on these cloud environments, or we're going to just simply turn them off, right? Turn them on at 8 in the morning, turn them off at 7 o'clock at night. I mean, there's a whole range of things that you can do to quickly scale up, scale down, so that you're not wasting electricity and wasting your precious dollars. So that's all we'll check in with here. Pleased to share more with you. Again, this is a very large topic. This is the short version, and we actually have use cases in our Center of Excellence that, for example, the contract mining and many others that actually demonstrate these, not necessarily specific to software asset management, but just more demonstrative of the functions so people get it, and it's more applicable to a wider audience. So thank you for joining. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we would love to hear some of your questions or comments, or even have a conversation around how you think RPA may be able to strengthen your SAM team so you can get more done. Thank you very much, and take care.